Eleanor Dumont, who was born as Simone Jules, came into the world in 1829, probably in France. Years later, she crossed borders and made her mark in the Old West. At the card table, she broke barriers for women and became a reference among professionals, leaving behind a trail of achievements and hushed, attentive tables. Belle Starr, born Myra Maybelle Shirley Reed Starr, became a legend of the Old West. Between alliances with gangs and brushes with crime, she cultivated independence and a firm hand. She grew up in an unstable territory where pioneers, outlaws, and native peoples fought for space, shaping her bold destiny early on under constant tension. Etta Place remains a mystery of the Old West. Before joining Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid's Wild Bunch, almost nothing is known about her. At their side, she showed nerves of steel and mastery on horseback, becoming a trusted partner in the daring getaways that defied the law and fueled her legend. Before we go on, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. That way, YouTube knows this content matters and shares it with more people. At the end of the 19th century, Jenny Rogers gained fame in the Old West by running brothels. She started in one town, expanded to others, and turned her establishments into hotspots of the nightlife. With business savvy, she organized teams, looked after clients, and made management her signature and her lasting legacy. Josephine Earp, born in 1860, crossed the Old West with rare initiative. She broke the rules of her time and turned her own life into a frontier. Alongside Wyatt Earp, she lived through the tensions of Tombstone, navigated rival alliances, and witnessed firsthand the clashes that shaped that city. Laura Bullion was born in Texas in 1876 and left her own trail across the Old West. A member of the Wild Bunch with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, she took part in robberies and escapes. Among the few women in the gang, she earned respect for her skill on horseback and steady hand with a gun. Mattie Silks, born in 1848 in Missouri, broke boundaries in the Old West. She got her start in adult entertainment businesses and, with sharp instincts, became a leader in the field. Her reputation opened doors, and she took her houses to cities like Kansas City, Albuquerque, and San Francisco. An American born in 1864, Nellie Bly became a trailblazer in journalism by pushing reporting to new limits at the turn of the 20th century. By challenging the rules imposed on women, she opened doors and cemented investigative reporting. Her work still resonates today, inspiring generations to move forward. Pauline Cushman, driven by courage and purpose, became a remarkable Union spy in the Civil War. Using her charisma and acting skills, she infiltrated Confederate networks and mingled among officers. At constant risk, she gathered crucial intelligence that helped tip operations in favor of the North. Pearl Hart, an icon of the Old West, was born in 1871 and entered folklore after leading a daring robbery that landed her in the headlines. Her capture mobilized local and federal authorities. Detained in New Mexico, she faced a trial that turned into a newspaper spectacle and etched her into popular memory. Rose Dunn, the Rose of the Wild Bunch, left her mark on the Old West. Born in 1878 in Texas County, Texas, she joined the Wild Bunch alongside Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. With steady aim and control of the reins, she braved escapes and prairie raids, living the uncertain and dangerous path of the gang. Before we go on, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. That way, YouTube knows this content matters and shares it with more people. Libby Thompson rose above the stigma of prostitution and defied fate by becoming one of the prosperous madams of the Old West. With resilience and strategy, she carved out paths where few doors were open for women like her, built businesses, forged alliances, and became a role model, proving that courage and planning can reshape a life. In Old West accounts, Squirrel-Tooth Alice stands out as a character who broke the mold. Her nickname came from taming squirrels, a feat that turned into entertainment. Between acts and saloons, she also shone with a gun, sharp aim, quick draw, a combination that propelled her into legend. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Phoebe Ann Mosey, known as Annie Oakley, became a sharpshooting icon of the Old West. In 1875, at just 15 years old, she faced off against champion Frank E. Butler. With a steady hand and flawless aim, she hit all 25 targets, turned the tables, and opened the door to a career that soon made her famous nationwide. Baby Doe Tabor made her mark on American history at the end of the 19th century. In 1877, in Leadville, Colorado, she met silver mining magnate Horace Tabor. The meeting quickly turned into marriage, and their union opened the way to high society, where she became one of the richest and most influential women in the region. Calamity. Jane left her stamp on Old West history not just for her skill with weapons, which earned her respect and fame as a sharpshooter, but also for her compassionate side. Between adventures and challenges, she devoted time to helping the most vulnerable, remembered as much for her bravery as for her kindness. Emma Lillis Quigley, considered respectable in the Old West, rewrote her own story around 1880. A photo of her went public and exposed her work as a prostitute. What seemed like ruin became a showcase. Curiosity drew clients, her fame grew, and her earnings soared, changing her life forever. Catherine Harney became known for her stormy romance with Doc Holliday. The two met in a Kansas town when Kate was working as a prostitute and soon formed an intense bond. Their relationship played out in fierce fights and fiery reconciliations, a cycle fueled by passion, jealousy, and constant strain. Anne Bassett, the Queen Anne of the Old West, lived among fences and risks. Her life changed when Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid brought cattle-rustling notoriety to her region. Instead of backing away, she saw an opportunity. She got close to the gang, joined forces, and made her daring spirit a passport to new adventures. Ellen Watson became a reference in the Old West. By buying land in Johnson County, Wyoming, she built up her herd and ran the business with determination. Step by step, she solidified her ranch and drew attention. A woman running cattle in a territory almost entirely run by men. Her story revealed limits and opened doors. Olive Oatman in the 19th century was captured with her sister Mary Ann and taken to live among native peoples. Tattooed on her face and chin in a ritual, she carried the marks for life. Among the Mojave, she overcame the rupture, learned the language, adopted customs, and mastered basket weaving, all while affirming her own identity. In the 1890s, William Goldman turned his camera on women in a Reading, Pennsylvania brothel run by Sal Shearer. In 1892, his portraits, tinged with melancholy and restraint, suggested lives on the margins, where work and stigma intertwined. Each face revealed the emotional and social toll exacted by fate.